Leaders from the Bahamas, the Caribbean and the United States mapping out new strategies in the fight against crime. And it comes at an opportune time as the homicide rate in the Bahamas is at an all-time high. But not just here. Jamaica, as well as other Caribbean countries, have an even bigger problem. Leaders realize that a collaborative effort between security forces is needed as the fight on the war on crime continues. Today, they met at the Atlantis Resort for the annual Caribbean Basin Security Conference. Altavi's Munnings was there.
The recent study produced by the UNODC in respect of homicide rates throughout the world places this region at the apex. We have countries in the region where homicide rates exceed 50%.
Sustaining regional security isn't an easy task. It requires private partnerships like the Caribbean Basin Security Initiative to find resolutions. But CARICOM's head of national security and law enforcement, Dr. Errol Court, who's also Antigua and Barbuda's Minister of National Security, believes more can be done to stop at-risk youth who tend to commit these crimes.
We see angry youth. We see youth violence at its highest. We see the youth getting involved in violent crime, gun-related crime.
The theme for the conference was fostering greater regional coordination and ensuring long-term sustainment. Prime Minister Ingraham in his keynote address praised the strong bilateral relationship between the Bahamas and the United States.
At the core of all our endeavours must be our commitment to the mutually supportive cooperative partnership we have established that will foster greater regional coordination and ensure long-term sustainment of Caribbean United States efforts. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the test of effectiveness of our Cbsi efforts will be the cumulative effect of what each of our countries achieve nationally and what we accomplish as the mutually beneficial partnership which the Caribbean and the US have entered. I give my assurance the Bahamas is a willing and committed partner in Cbsi.
Prime Minister Ingraham also illustrated the strength of U.S.-Bahamas ties in the U.S. Coast Guard's assistance in rescuing 18 passengers of the MV Legacy in Abaco on Wednesday. U.S. Secretary of Homeland Security Janet Napolitano said the United States is proud of its relationship with all regional states. Last year, some $139 million was spent on the Cbsi program and $77 million was donated for the fight of crime in the region. However, to maintain national security, she offered several recommendations to bolster maritime and land security.
While I recognize the difficulty of raising additional funds for security programs, allow me to share one idea you may wish to further explore, which is the use of legislative authorities that allow for the seizure of assets used in illicit activity to help sustain law enforcement programs. The Department of Homeland Security makes use of similar laws in the United States to obtain funds and equipment for our law enforcement agencies and partners. The Coast Guard also works with many countries across the region to assess anti-terrorism measures. Through Cbsi funding, the Coast Guard and the United States government have committed to provide boats and related training to a number of Caribbean countries, totaling $109 million.
Once the high-level dialogue of the Caribbean Basin Security Initiative ends today, regional security officials should have a better opportunity to execute brand new security strategies in their respective countries. Altavi's Munnings, ZNS News.